with the people and the YouTubes going live. Hopefully it's working. What is happening, Fishing Friends? Welcome to another live. I'm getting a little feedback on somebody's end. It's not Brando.
That might be me.
Might be me.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, hey.
Is that better?
Dizzle's giving us tunes. Yeah, I don't hear any feedback now.
Okay, we're good.
Can you hear us? All right, we are here getting the technical kinks worked out. What's happening, Fishing Friends? Talking some pre-spawn fishing tonight. So I bought a couple local cats, one of which you know very well, who joins me almost every Saturday night. The man, the myth, the Dizzle. Sir, how are you?
I'm living the dream, man. If you guys can tell, the scenery is just a smidge different. So yeah. I am no longer Nebraska bound.
He sent me a message and said the only reason I came back is because the stupid Hawks lost in the tournament. I'm like, no, it's nice. I blame that loss on you.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I could hear you all the way over there in Nebraska chanting, I hope the Hawks lose. Go Huskers. Go Big Red.
Are you talking basketball or are you talking what are you even saying?
Basketball. Randy. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Dizzle's just gonna hate on us all night. We got Brando with us. So Brando, you've seen in a number of videos. He's got the larger John boat, also a tin lover like myself. So I figured, why not get Brando? I can't believe we haven't had him on before. Another Iowa guy, lives, I don't know what, half hour from me about is all ish.
Yeah, yep, not too far.
Yeah. So Brando, give us for the folks that don't know you, who haven't seen you on my channel and such, tell us Brando's fishing story in a minute, real quick.
Absolutely, yeah. So grew up like 50 minutes from here, Lake Delhi, on the Maquoketa River. Been fishing since I've been 5. And then, I just kind of started picking up bass fishing a little bit more seriously, probably like 6-7 years ago. So, it's just been fun from there. Just learning, obviously started with, a couple of rods, and then next thing you know, I've got 15, 16. And a whole closet full of baits. So
I got to jump in quick. I was going to tell you that. Did you see the Indian Creek Lures is closing?
Yes.
All of the stuff.
Yep. Yeah. I might have spent a couple $100 there.
Oh, okay. I didn't even make it over.
Yeah. But he hooked me up though, so it was nice of him. But yeah,
Kyle's he was always a good cat. One of our buddies, Dustin, who hopefully Randy and I will be able to get out on his fancy purple boat this year. Sent me a thing showing that it was closed. Apparently there's something opening in like Swisher or Shoeyville. Some other guys opening.
Yeah, I think it's Shoeyville. Yeah, but basically bought all of his tackle, and then it's gonna open up there. But
okay. So anyway, sorry.
No, I was gonna say my wife Callie's happy because Kyle's is like, I don't know, 7 minutes from me. So
good, you're not going there and buying any more of the sale stuff. There was a place, I don't know if you remember it, there was a place called Gander Mountain.
No, jeez, we're starting already, huh? Man.
Dude, I know Brando actually, we've talked about it before. Brando also hit the Gander sales far more than we should have. So early drink, folks, early drink.
Yeah, I think I only hit it up like once, maybe twice. I'm not sure, but I was really looking back at it. I'm very disappointed I didn't get there more than I did.
Yeah, there was a lot of goodies there. A lot of goodies.
It got cleaned out though pretty fast.
It did.
But I remember my wife and I went to go eat dinner somewhere, and then I think things were like 15%, and I was like, oh my gosh, great, And then all of a sudden, literally the next week, like 40%, 50%.
I think it started 20.
So
I think it started at 20%.
Was it 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. People were like, oh yeah, let's get a whole bunch of good stuff.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it just,
And then they're like, let's start selling the shelves.
Steven said Debo bought it all. Yeah. I did buy quite a bit of it. So Brando's been fishing his whole life. Dizzle's fished since he was a youngin'. I've fished since I was young. Took kind of a little hiatus there in the middle. So we're going to kind of play a round robin. I figured we'd do this a little bit differently. So of course, everybody in the comments, love y'all for jumping in. Members, non-members, folks like Rob, I still
sorry
you.
about that.
That's all right. Just bang-a-lang over there and
my phone fell. It's okay.
Usama, I don't know if Usama Khan's in here yet, but I'm sure he's going to be one to point out that I did not get stuff sent out with the thermal printer last week. horribly busy week. I said I was going to give away all my fishing gear if I didn't. So I'm going to kind of bend that rule. Instead of giving away all of it, I'll give away a reel tonight. So that's going to be the grand prize. We'll do a giveaway. I'll pick out a random reel.
I was gonna say, if you are planning on doing that, as soon as I might even leave early and just head down there right now.
Come down here and clean out DEBO'S stuff.
Yep. Even the stuff like the backwards reels, I'll even grab those things. It doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh, Randall. Thermal printer versus Stubby's pillow. Yeah, we're going to get into this and that. So we're going to get into all kinds of stuff tonight. And like I said, kind of play a round robin deal to get different viewpoints and stuff, because each of us kind of have a little bit different spin on things. So I think that'll be a fun way to go about it. So pre-spawn fishing is what I call this. Pre-spawn fishing lures and tactics. So when I think of pre-spawn fishing, I don't think of like right now. So pre-spawn to me isn't that whole stretch of like ice out till they're spawning. Like to me, pre-spawn is kind of that like higher 40s up into like the lower 50s when they're actually moved up shallower, getting ready to do the whole spawning deal. Now, of course, it goes in different cycles, right? So you've got, if you've got a big lake or a larger lake where it's, got a deeper midpoint, a lot of those bass that were out deep are going to start moving up shallower to those main points. Then as they start looking for places to spawn, it doesn't always go like textbook. Like, you'll read like, okay, main points, and then they're going to go to the secondary points, and they're going to go in the back of those creek channels and spawn real shallow, right? Well, what the hell do you do if your lake doesn't have creek channels or primary, secondary points? We've got a lot of lakes around here that all three of us fish that are, 200 acres, right? That's tiny compared to, these places pros are fishing on the tours and stuff. So that's why I always try to keep it in mind for like, if you fish smaller places like we fish here in the Midwest, or if you do a lot of pond fishing, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, what you see. And I'm not saying none of that's true, very true. But you just might have to adapt it to the places that you fish and kind of where and how. So, and we'll kind of touch on each one of those different spots as we go through. So talking pre-spawn to me, I'm thinking like the higher 40s, getting into the 50s, the big females will move up first. After that, they're doing the whole spot. I'm sorry, the males will move up first, what the people call the buck bass, right? Getting the bed stuff ready, looking for their spots. The females will move up and they'll start to do the spawning thing. So for me, once I start seeing those smaller bass coming up, those females are probably pushed back. Again, that depends on where you're at. A little deeper, right? And that can be 5 foot, 10 foot, 15 foot, depending on how big your lake is. But the males are moved up. The females are kind of sitting back a little bit deeper, coming up, feeding as they're coming out of their winter haunts, eating up. So we're going to start kind of gradually into like pond fishing. So each of us have done bank fishing throughout the years. I know, like Brando said, he grew up on the river, so he did a ton of river fishing. Randy's kind of done
I was going to say, I did pond when I lived in North Liberty. I used to pond hop all those little ponds.
Perfect.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
So we've kind of all got our thing. So I'm going to say, first off, I like pond fishing early in the year because, one, the smaller bodies of water are going to heat up quicker. So you might have a bunch of the big lakes and stuff that are still halfway iced over. You might have a small pond that's 10, 15 degrees warmer, So I'm going to say small pond first for some pre-spawn fishing. It's going to warm up quicker, ice is off, get them moving up. What are you guys going to pick for your 1 and 2 lures? You only get to take 2 rods. What are you taking for your 1 and 2 lures in a pond? And you don't get to pick the pond. So it's not like, I'm going to say it's a 15-acre pond. We're going to fish it. So you don't know if it's all rocky. You don't know if it's still got some residual grass left over. 2 lures. And I'm going to put up a poll here as we're going through and answer these. Hopefully I can do 6 questions. Sorry if you guys hear this. I'm going to bring up my live on YouTube because I can't do polls through StreamYard, which is stupid. I think it's muted. Okay.
Either that or just make sure the volume's turned all the way down.
It's muted. Yep, we're good.
Okay.
So Dizzle, I'm picking you because you're there in the top spot. You don't like to be down on the bottom. Dizzle, 2 lures. You don't know where you're going. What are you picking? Jig's
well, I mean,
what's up, Kuda?
Clearly I'm taking a jig as number 1.
I never would have guessed you would have brought a jig with you.
And so this is like right now, I'm torn. It's a 3-way tear. That let's skip past that.
No, this, that's, and the others. Give me your 2 and why. So jig because yes, it's a jig.
Jig because yes, I can. It's very versatile for me. I can swim it. I can jig it. I can rocks. trees somewhat. It's very versatile for me. I can use it a bunch of different ways. I think number 2, I think I'm going to go number 2 with a lipless, just because with the lipless, I feel like although I can't get it to suspend, I get the same thing out of or similar thing out of a lipless that I would with a jerkbait. And the jerkbait was another big one that I was kind of toying with, and that and like a bladed, like a spinnerbait or something like that. But I'm going jig and lipless.
Okay. I like those picks. A jig and a lipless. Mr. Brando. Oh, and Liza, I did bring that up here. Sorry, I'm switching back and forth between screens, so don't think I'm rude. And if I accidentally talk over anybody, Brando, I think we might have a slight delay with you. So
Okay.
It's not like I'm trying to talk over you.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, I'm trying to up, down.
For me,
Liza, real quick, I am going to jump in and talk over you. I'm lying. Yes, north side of the pond or lake will be the warmest. It gets more sun. So yes, start on the north side, generally a good spot to fish. Of course, that's going to depend on your tree cover and stuff, but as a general rule, absolutely north side will warm up quicker than the rest of it.
Also
okay,
with
Brando,
that,
sorry, go ahead.
Kind of with that comment too, I also look at, because I know up in North Liberty, they have those drains that like spill out water. I sometimes start there as well, because I know that that's going to be warmer water pushing in. So it's just something I've sometimes dabble in when I do the pond fishing.
Yeah, that's really any creek channel. I mean, any place where you've got a smaller creek getting heated up, coming through and draining down into the lake. Oftentimes that's going to be warmer water coming through that, skinny creek, dumping down into the lake. So there's, I've talked about it on here. I don't know how many times. I need to have Dad on alive and we can go through some of these. They were here and I tried to get Pops on and he said, "Oh, maybe so." Like, Dad, come on. He doesn't like cameras.
Oh, is that where you got it from?
What?
The
No, pretty much anybody that doesn't want to do what I ask sounds like that. So, but anyway, it's been, probably 6-7 years ago now. We had a day where I was wearing a sweatshirt and it was still kind of chilly. So it was like water temp was probably like right at 50, a couple layers on with a hoodie on. It was probably like right at 50 and we smashed them on frogs. Now, normally that's something I was going to talk about is like topwater. I'm not even worried about until it's like 55, 55 up to 60 around here. I know everywhere's different. Our spawn goes really quick. So like in the South, you'll see the guys, February, March, now they're already throwing topwater right down in Texas. But for us, it moves through within, it feels like just a few weeks and, they're up and gone. And so yeah, it's not always the same, but the only reason we were catching them there everywhere else, I don't remember what the water temp was, but I remember out of that creek, right in the back of that channel where it was all muddy, it was like 5 degrees warmer from where that creek was dumping in. And all those bass were just piled there. And it was a bunch of like 2-pounders. So 2-pounders on frogs when you catch, like 15 each, a bunch of fun. And here, okay, quick quiz question for you guys. Dizzle and Brando, you can take turns. It was a Booyah Pad Crasher, which I know all of us have thrown. What was the color I was throwing?
It wasn't Mendit. I have 3 bottles of Mendit sitting next to me right now.
Of course you do. You keep one in your Leatherman thing. You took the Leatherman out and you keep a Mendit on your hip.
It's actually, I don't know if you've seen the little Tabasco hot sauce holder that you, I have one. I have a couple of those.
It?
Yeah.
Modified it for your Mendit everyday carry.
Right. My guess is a lot of people are saying black, but I don't think it was a black. It was the, it's not Fire Tiger. What is the name of that?
You're looking at comments. You're cheating.
Well, I'm just saying a lot of people are saying black. That's not my answer. I'm saying the Fire Tiger color.
No, it was not Fire Tiger.
Yeah.
Somebody said it. 2 people have said it. 3 people have said it. Purple Vomit.
Oh.
Is that a color?
Purple Vomit. I mean, I'm guessing, was it a yellow? I mean, was it like a yellow bottom frog?
It
like
was not.
Like the belly? No, okay.
It was not. It was the secret frog color. If you ever throw a Booyah Pad Crasher, Old Smoky, and I am sharing here. we're already 15 minutes in. We haven't got into anything of the meat and taters of this, so this might be a bunch of tangents we get on. But,
Oh well.
I'll share real quick. Oh well, it's fun. We're here to have fun. Okay, so Brando, what are your two lures while I'm bringing this up? While I'm bringing the secret juice up here.
Yeah, I'd have to say spinnerbait for sure.
Ooh, I like it.
And then I just love Texas rig. I mean, to me personally, I just love. There's so much versatility to the Texas rig. I can do a lot of things with it. Obviously, kind of similar to the jig, but I just really am a big T rig guy. So those two are mine.
Okay. Interesting. So yeah, I would have thought you were going to say jig. I didn't know what your first one was going to be. I thought you were also going to be on team jig. Let's see. Yeah. So I put a poll up for everyone because my two are included in that. It's a tough choice. And I would probably, it's going to depend where I'm at. But if I don't know where I'm at and I'm pond fishing, generally I don't throw the jerkbait. So once we get into the larger lakes and stuff, which will kind of be the second part moving on here. So for bank fishing though, it would be a spinnerbait, and it's tough. I was gonna say Ned rig, but again, I don't know where we're at. So I would say spinnerbait and a lipless, because you can.
Ned rig's my third. Ned rig would be my third. It's in the car. I can tell you that it's in my truck. Like I'll take it's in the truck when I go out for sure. But
yeah, again, it depends on where you're at. Where we're going, but we couldn't pick that. So let's see, where's the regular pad crasher? So the Old Smoky, if none of y'all have thrown it, was hopefully this still make it. Yeah, Old Smoky. It's like this grayish, kind of a translucent see-through, and you wouldn't think like the bass would hone in on it in like the dirty water, but I mean we were throwing in straight chocolate, muddy, mucky, and they had to have just been going off field. Now, granted, it was only like 4 feet deep too where we were fishing off these. But yeah, that's an awesome color if you've never thrown that. Most of the chat was right though. If I only had to pick one color of these to fish forever, it'd be just the regular black night train. All black, black belly, black frog is my go-to. Okay.
Debo, what was the color? Yeah. Was it the Freak or was it the Amazon of the Spro that you were throwing? Or that you threw quite a bit? Is it the Freak?
Freak is my favorite in the Spro, yes, for sure. Yes,
that's what I was thinking of initially.
Oh, okay, yeah. Good call out. That is one of my top 2 or 3 favorites.
I just recently started throwing white frogs. That was something. Fished the Mississippi River a number of times last year, and the white frog was been a newer addition to the frog box, but.
Yeah, and a lot of guys will argue over it, when to throw it, what color, overcast versus sunny, do you only throw it if you're mimicking bait fish, or is it more of a contrast thing? I've heard like people go both ways on that, but for me, I think just a black silhouette up there to me works all conditions. I don't care when it is, but Dave Washburn said, Senko anyone? Dude, pre-spawn fishing like with a wacky rig once they get up shallow, that's gotta be, and we're just talking like regular pre-spawn. I'm not talking about like I see a bunch of fish like actually cruising shallow, once they're doing the whole spawn thing or they've already spawned and are moving. Yeah, that's one that just absolutely kicks butt too. There's so many. A lot of people are saying Ned rig, dingers. Yeah, let's see where our poll is at. How do I make it bigger? There we go.
That'd be something too I would want to try, is just using a bigger worm, like a 5-inch, like a dinger, Senko, but like kind of like a Ned rig, but you would just use that bigger worm just to have a little bit bigger profile.
I do like that. I've been using the last year I used the net X Zone Nico Ned Zone, which is like a 4.25 inch. I like that one a ton. So right now in the poll, 119 votes, 35% for spinnerbait as their number 1. Number 2 is Texas rig at 29%, 3 for jig, 20%. Last place, lipless, 16%. So we're going to end it there. Spinnerbait was the winner. Okay, I like it. And we're going to keep these in mind as we talk about these, because there's actually going to be 2 giveaways. So maybe you'll understand why we're picking out some lures and doing the poll. So, okay,
And
so we move
maybe
away.
I can win.
No, you can't win. Don't be getting your old grubby mitts in the giveaway. Okay, so we move on from ponds. We get out to the lakes fishing, and this can be lakes, rivers, and you can kind of talk about it in your reasoning as you pick whatever it's going to be. So, Randy, we're off the banks. We're not fishing from shore. We're in a boat fishing a river or lake of your choice. You don't get to know where it's at, but it's just we're going to one. What are you picking for your 2? And you can say the same
Manners
thing
and
too.
crawlers.
Manners is 1. Crawlers is the backup.
No, I think I'm probably. It is going to change up a smidge. It's going to be a lipless, color undetermined, and probably. God, I'm probably going to change it up to. I'm going to. Sticking with the jig.
Isn't that what you said last? Was the jig?
No, I said lipless in jig, and this time it's like a squirble in jig.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying lipless still. So you're saying
no, if I did, my bad. No, it's going to be a squirble, or can I say a crankbait and go either squirble or like a DT?
That's what I was going to ask, if you were going to go with a flat side or a DT versus like a regular squirble.
If not, I'm probably going to go like a DT 6.
Let's say a
or
DT
6, somewhere around there. Yeah.
I like that. Yep. I think that's from when I've been with you, because usually we don't start throwing the regular square bills, like erratic movement, really banging off wood and stuff, fishing faster until a little bit later. So I think, DT6, I could definitely see you have one of those tied on. Okay, and a jig. Yeah, because if there was a movie about you, remember the movie Edward Scissorhands, where Johnny Depp had scissors as hands?
No, I don't remember that. Like, what happened in that movie? Did he have?
It'd be like Dizzle jiggy fingers, and all your fingers would just be jigs.
I'd catch so many pigs.
Okay, Brando. I don't even know where the hell this stream is going tonight. We're just having fun. So. Brando, what would your 2 picks be?
For sure, jerkbait. Love that. I just love that bait in the pre-spawn. And then
on the river, even.
Yeah, on the river.
Really.
Yeah. And then I would say, probably like a crankbait. I mean, I really like the. Of course, I'm going to forget what it's called. Bandit. Those bandits, like a bandit 200, bandit 300.
200.
Like I'd be switching those depending upon where I'm at. But so
okay. Well, mine won't fit. Apparently, I can only do 2 options. I'm not good at. Oh, and I didn't ask a question on the other one. No wonder. Favorite lake / river pre-spawn lure.
Dizzle, the river I grew up on was like, it wasn't like that tough of current, so that's what.
Which I mean,
like 1 mile per hour, but
not the Cedar, then.
No, Maquoketa River. It's like
okay.
Yeah, it's dammed up. It's a dammed up river.
Okay.
So
yeah, I grew up on the Wapsipinicon, so.
Yeah, I mean, I've jerkbait that before.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you why DEBO'S doing whatever the heck he's doing.
I'm done doing it now.
Oh, okay. Delhi went through a big change, didn't it? It did they drain it? I thought they drained it a while back, and then they did something else to it.
Well, it wasn't a drain. We had a really bad flood in 2010.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the dam gave way, and then for the longest time, I don't know. I think it came back around 2015. They rebuilt the dam, and then it's back to where it was prior to the dam breaking. So
if I remember Delhi, I think I've only been there like once, and it was me and old Johnny. We went out there on his boat, and there's an actual like a waterfall dam type of thing right there that leads down to a bottom body of water.
One tip for that. I've had really good success there, Randy. If you fish that waterfall, don't go chasing it. Real good tip.
Listen to the rhythm.
I don't even
Yeah,
know what I was
you're
gonna
supposed to
say
laugh.
anymore.
That's a tough crowd here tonight. Ooh, everybody just got quiet and took a drink. That's the all knowing this wasn't funny when people stopped making eye contact. And they're like,
But yeah, I remember fishing there, and it was actually probably so the flood happened,
Mhm.
and it was still opened, and then I want to say wasn't there like somebody that like crashed a boat or did something crazy up there that messed up a bunch of stuff too, or something like that? I could be making that up too.
Maybe. I mean, there's been accidents on the river before. It's crazy. Like you don't want to be getting out
Oh
there
yeah,
in the summertime. I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. I guess.
yeah. It probably was right around that 2010 like
Yeah.
time zone when I was there, and the only time I fished it, and it was pretty decent. I don't remember
Oh yeah.
catching
Yep.
any pigs, but I remember
Yeah.
catching fish.
Yeah.
supposedly. Okay, so my two. So I threw up the poll. So if everybody can please vote on the poll. This time there's actually a question there, so people were probably afraid to pick because they didn't know what it was before. Maybe not. Maybe they just don't like polls. I think the polls are fun. Okay. Anyway, jerkbait for me, number one. I agree. Lakes, rivers, wherever, even ponds for sure. If your pond will allow it, there's a number of now for me it's just specifically going to be a suspending jerkbait or a really slow sink. So like the Berkeley Stunna work
Mhm.
really good as a slow sink, but for me it's going to be something like the I'm a Flit I like a lot. 6 Sense Provoke I like a lot. The old Rapala Huskies I like a lot. Those are kind of my big ones. I don't venture a ton and try. I've just started trying the Megabass stuff because people were nice enough to send some 110s to me. They're great. I know there's probably a couple more I'm forgetting, but yes, a jerkbait. And number two, I think I'm going to have to say a Ned rig. I'm going to be that guy that's throwing the old sissy stick. But man, Ned rig, there's been multiple years. It's been, gosh, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Ned rig was my first fish of the year, 4.5 pounds. Very first fish I caught of the year. This year it was a Ned rigged large TRD, first fish of the year, only like 1.5 pounds or maybe 2 pounds, but yeah, they work. So don't let people tell you they don't work, and especially once you start, especially with the EWG Ned rigs, like once those
Mhm.
bass start moving up shallower, it doesn't have to be a deeper Ned rig, straight hard bottom. You can fish those EWG Ned rigs almost like a Texas rig. Keep in mind you've got light line generally, so you can't get in the real thick, nasty, but yeah, Ned rig. So
Yeah.
let's
That's
look.
that's always been a good river technique as well.
Yeah, somebody was saying tubes. I know you're a big tube guy as well.
Yeah.
Ooh,
People saying tubes in the river.
Actually, Devo, you introduced me to the EWGs, and that was great. Like after
oh,
that, because for the longest time, I always fish just like the regular ones, and yeah, I went through a lot. Just
the Ned EWGs, right?
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. I remember the first time he busted those out. I was like, these are something else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't say game changer a lot for bank anglers though. A Ned, then yeah, when I switched to the Ned EWG, like a weedless EWG style Ned rig, yeah, game changer. And I don't say that a lot on stuff, but
Mhm.
it was way different game then. Lots of other good suggestions in here. Red. Oh, let's see where our red lipless cranks. Brando actually brought. I think you brought some red stuff because he said, "Are we going to talk about red early spring?" What's your take on it? I've told the story of me and Randall. It's been, gosh, what was that? 7, 8
I,
years ago when we started fishing. Now,
I was gonna
um,
say probably closer to 10, maybe even.
I think. Well, I think it wasn't the first year. So I think it was actually the second year we started fishing together again.
Okay.
But we were joking about it, and I ended up catching a ton that day on the red lipless, and we're both kind of like, well, damn, there might be something to it. So
Yeah.
are you, Brando, are you a fan of the red lipless or red
I've got
anything?
it.
I guess red lures. We got
I mean, yeah, it's not really my go-to. I have a box of them, and every time I tie it on, I'll throw it, and I'm just not comfortable, I guess, with it, just because I guess I've never really caught a number of fish on them. So I'll just switch to, jerk bait or, just a different color, a more natural bait fish color, but I know, I mean, I've heard stories and people have told me that they've caught them on it before. So I think I'd like to do a little bit more of that this year. Just keep it in my hand and, just get a little bit more comfortable with it. And then, yeah, we'll maybe go from there. But
it's always good to have, kind of in, if you will, your toolbox to use. I mean, going back again to how Debo was saying that day many, many years ago, like I even joked around with him. We were standing at the truck getting ready to go in, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna try a red lipless. I'm gonna blah blah blah." And I'm like, "I'm not even taking my crankbait rod with me." And we go down there, and he starts slamming them, and I'm trying to fit a round peg into a square hole with a non crankbait rod, and I'm kicking myself the entire time.
Dustin, what do you got? Dustin's a big river guy. That's Dustin that I was just talking about. We're killing you with the pre-spawn river stuff. What are your picks? You're a big river guy. Please tell. When did we get you on? We need to get you on alive. He's a tournament guy, does a bunch of tournament stuff around here. Always in the chat supporting. Dustin will get you on alive. Hit me up. Instagram me. He's actually the one that I said told me Indian Creek was closing. So Dustin, I'm going to look for your comment. Dizzle, keep an eye out for it. I'm going to close the poll. So it was pretty big this time. Jerkbait 47%, 30% for the jig, 16% for a DT, 7% for a Bandit 200. So Jerkbait wins that one. Let's say, okay, so as we're moving up, square peg into a round hole.
What's surprised is that neither of us said chatterbait. I saw that one guy's comment.
I am not pre-spawn. I'm spinnerbait pre-spawn.
Yeah.
Like, the thing for me is
I was really torn. I almost went underspin.
That's what Chris caught his. Dang it. The Sprite Zero is making me hiccup tonight. Chris and I went out, what's that, 2 weekends ago? He caught his on the old underspin. Let's see. I know there was another question. Yeah, chatterbait. So, the reason I was going to say that is because early spring, as you're walking ponds or bank fishing or whatever, it doesn't have to be that, but that's usually what I go to and think of, is because all that crappy vegetation and the woody brush stuff that you can't walk through, it gets so damn thick as spring and coming into summer. Early spring like that, none of that's grown up. You don't have all the big, huge, grass mats and stuff that have all grown up all the way to the surface, so you can't fish, 50% of the damn lake. That's why I'm going to a spinnerbait. Obviously a chatterbait comes through that grassy stuff really well, but spinnerbait, you can just slow roll. Usually it's just wood in there, which the spinnerbait works way better around wood. That's kind of my pick, but okay. Dustin said spinnerbait, Texas rig, chatter and bait, and a swimming jig. Not much lives in the deep current on the river in the spring. I fished the Federation National Championships the 29th through 31st, so it'll be a couple weeks. Cool, dude. We'll have to get you on. Let me know if you're interested. If not, if you don't want to give up all your secrets, we get it. We know Randy will be stealing those and then catching all the fish. So,
Debo, does it always have to be a dam lake, or can it just be a regular lake without the?
I don't know. What do you mean a dam lake versus a
a
man-made?
You were talking about that earlier. Never mind.
Oh, I don't know.
It was funny in my head, and it was still in my head, so I thought I'd just throw it out there. Hey, what's that over there?
Hey, what's that? Squirrel? Always looking for the wood. Yep, I do love me fishing some wood, especially once they start moving up shallower. And that's another thing too. People think about spawn or bass spawning. They always think they're going to be right up on the bank in that hard stuff. With a relatively hard bottom, which they definitely will. But bass will spawn on stuff. Bass want to feel comfortable. So oftentimes when you see them up on the bank, they've got that little space carved out. They've got somewhere where they can, protect the nest, look for stuff, fend it off. But they'll often be on those little drop-offs. If there's like a good brush pile, hell yeah, they'll spawn right on that, right in that stuff where they're comfortable, can, butt right up against it. So it doesn't have to be just like the dirt, shallow wood. You can find them off in that stuff too. And that could be, stuff that you can't really see. That could be 6, 7, 8, 9 feet down, 10 feet down. They don't have to be in, just a couple feet of water, dirt shallow spawning. So
Hey, right before that question you just brought up there,
yes,
South Jersey fisherman said, Debo, do you look for dead leaves and debris in the water in pre-spawn?
I do not know what's up with dead leaves and debris in the water pre-spawn.
I guess I would
Not sure
I would maybe pay attention to it just because that kind of stuff is going to bring in, some of the smaller bait fish, kind of eating on, those nutrients that might be in there or might have fallen in there. That would probably be my guess as to what the idea, I guess, behind that is.
I froze. I'll be
Oh,
back.
you're so cold.
Oh, look at me.
So
Hey, Randall,
cold.
ask me a question. I'll tell you what I think of it. Ask me a question real quick.
No, here we go.
Here's my
Debo,
response.
would this guy over here? This guy. So you Delhi. There's God. I want to ask a bunch of questions about different places around there that you probably would have fished then. Like, I don't even know.
It's kind of unique just because it's from a river, but like it's not like Mississippi River where it's got that high current. So and there's a lot of docks, and so like it's nice. Well, I mean, right now you're gonna catch a lot of fish with a Ned rig. We had a tournament there, buddy of mine, last September, and if you didn't have a Ned rig and weren't fishing a Ned rig, you weren't catching anything. So I mean, it gets really finicky, but it's fun because there's smallmouth, largemouth, and you can fish docks. You can fish. It's not really a ton of grass, but there's like bluffs and then laydowns, and so I mean, it was a good little lake just to have that diversity and learn how to fish multiple structures and that stuff. So
I always try to get Debo to go and fish the river a little bit more than what we do. The bad thing about the river is it's kind of difficult to fish, especially if you're looking at it from a bank angler's kind of point of view. A lot of the good laydowns and things like that are not really that accessible.
Mm-hmm.
But the other things you can look for is those wing dams. If there's a good access point and things like that. I know there's a lot of times where I've fished growing up on the Wapsie. We just there were 3 dams within the city that I grew up in. There was a double dam section and then there was a big dam section. It sounded bad. A larger dam. I didn't fish the larger that much just because there was a lot of cat fishermen down there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that double dam area, the smallies were just stacked up in. Like if you even had just like a little crevice or a little cut in around that area, there's bound to be a smallie in there, and just pissed off by all means once you hook into them. So always
angry little smallmouth,
super angry.
So Matthew brought up an interesting point. Said it's where a lot of bugs and small worms hang, where bluegill come and eat bass. Take advantage of it to ambush bluegill. For me, I guess I'm not looking that shallow yet in pre-spawn. I mean, they'll definitely be up there, like we said, the buck bass moving up and stuff. But I'm more thinking like point. I'm very point oriented, like drop-offs, especially when you see those drop-offs that are like when you look at your topographical map where the drop-offs go like this. So it's like 20 foot, 15 foot, 10 foot, 6 foot, like where they're all just bunched together instead of like looking at the map and they're like this. So like 20 foot way out here and then 15 and then 20, like, those closer those lines come in together means the quicker that drop off is on that point that you're fishing. So if you've got a good main point where there's like a creek channel that comes in by it, of course it's going to depend on your place, but if you got a creek channel coming in and it's real deep in that, maybe 20 feet or whatever, they've dredged this out 15 feet and it goes up right on the bank to this point within, maybe, I don't know, 120 feet off that is where that creek channel is. It's going to be a real quick drop that you can, cast to, or maybe even closer depending on the point. But that's really what I'm looking at is point works and drop off. Those bass moving up, hanging on the edges of that where they're not quite like hanging in that real shallow water yet. But again, it's going to depend on where you're at. If you're fishing a big, huge, 10-acre pond that is shaped like a fishbowl, you're not going to have that, right? So then for me, it's going to be more structure stuff. Where are they moving up to start looking? Is there big boulder piles? Is there big, huge tree piles, old Christmas tree piles, something like that would hold those fish. Because again, generally, you're not going to have all that grass and stuff grown up yet. So,
I got a question for you guys on that. If you find like that point, are you going to spend time fishing that point with that same lure differently, or are you going to fish it and then switch a lure, fish it, or how do you guys like tackle points, I guess?
I'll probably think I got a bite on my jig and just stand there for hours.
even if you don't have a bite on it, you would still just stand there fishing a jig for hours.
Because I knew there was one time that I caught a really nice fish there. So probably.
And actually that's a really good point. So I don't have the answer to that. And Brando and I talk about that when we're out. Randy and I talk about that when we're out. People always ask me, one, how long do you stay in a spot? And two, when you're not catching fish in that spot and you think they're there, what do you change? And I'm still not a pro at this because like I will second guess the hell out of myself because people will be like, oh, it's just a small profile change, or it's just a quick color change and you can catch them. And it's like, oh, half the time I'm so freaking spun out. I'm like, dude, I know they're here and I'm getting pissed because I can't catch them. So for me, it's usually a change of lure. And I know that's probably not the right thing, but it's like, so if I'm throwing a jerkbait off that point, going down to like 10 feet, I'm throwing like a 6-foot suspending jerkbait and I'm not hitting anything and I'm pretty confident they're there, I'll probably go to like a Ned rig, something on the bottom. And then if not, start moving on, looking for other spots where I'm like, listen, I know this is the water temp. I know this is roughly where they should be. Maybe they're not on this one. And Randy and I have had it even times, and same with you and I, Brando. We'll fish a point and they might, as the wind's blowing into that point, every single fish is either on the wind blown side or you go to the back of it and they're waiting where that current comes around and they're all there. So for me, start looking for things like that.
That's the one thing that I kind of try to look for to begin with is, some sort of edge where the wind is blowing past, because in the Midwest here, you're always getting wind, especially in the in the springtime months when the ice first comes out, you're always getting wind. I like to fish personally that backside of any type of break like that because I feel like there's going to be more fish there. The one thing that I kind of like try to, or I get kind of stuck on in my head anyway, is, do I want to cast into the wind and try to work it back through? Obviously, that's going to make it look more, natural. Or do I want to cast, with the wind and kind of bring it back that way? I don't know as if I can say one way or another, one is better than the other, but that's one thing I kind of get stuck on too.
Well, and I remember, Debo, when we went out that one time on that one lake, when it was so windy, and we had to throw those jerk baits against the wind, just launch it. But that was the only way. Because I remember I came on the other side of you and I was trying to do this, same thing, not same jerk bait, but we were both throwing jerk bait and I was on the other side and it was nothing. So then Debo, of course, being nice guy he is like, hey, come over here. And then, we started.
That's never happened ever.
Well, people that don't try to push me in all the time, I'm actually nice to them, Randy.
I've never tried to push you in ever. I got you lures. We started right before we even started. I was like, hey, Debo, check out these. I got these awesome new lures for you.
Hey, show us.
Debo's almost taking my head out though with that frog, so you got to watch out for that too.
Nick said that Debo, the frog bite would be Debo's spot for the day. Absolutely, dude. If I'm in a frog spot and I get a blow up in the first few casts, I can I'll go to the back of my truck and grab my little 1-person pup tent, and I'm camping there for the day. Like it's
for the week, really.
For the week. I wish I could.
All right,
so Randy, while you're getting new lures, real quick before I forget, I want to talk about that windblown stuff. So, as bank anglers, and I see this all the time, people fishing from the bank who aren't as comfortable with it will always cast the wind with them, so the wind to their back, so it helps you cast. Right, you can fling cast way out there; it's easier. And I'm not saying that you can't catch fish that way, but early spring, especially when the wind is moving in or the wind is blowing in your face, you've got usually a bunch of rainstorms. You've got a bunch of different fronts that have moved in. You haven't hit a consistent temperature yet. There's spring, and then it goes into second winter, and then second spring, and then you get kind of a lull where you're like, yeah, spring's here. Then it goes into third winter, and you come back to spring again. The temperatures are always up and down, is what I'm saying. And with all that wind and rain and everything mucking it up, you'll often have a muddy side of the lake And then you can literally go from like dirty, silted, janky, I can barely see 2 inches, to the other side that's completely open and clear. And fishing into that wind where everything's bringing, it's not like the bait fish and bluegill can't swim away from it, but it's tend to bring everything else in that all those fish are eating and bringing stuff in. So fishing into that wind with the wind blowing into you where everything's blowing in is also a good spot to start. And looking for those mud lines. That was something I didn't even talk about, but there was, that's been actually, it was lipless. It was my first fish of the year. It was still chilly out. And my other buddy, Nate, was throwing a lipless into this mud line. He's like, dude, I just caught 2 over here. Come over on this side. I switched and we just slaughtered them on a red lipless. And we were fishing them way faster than I thought we should have the water had to have still been in the 40s. I mean, it was cold. Like we were bundled up. And we caught a bunch of them. So mud lines. Anyway, okay. Randall, what new lures did you pick up? We like lures and stuff. I can bring up.
I was actually out at the good old Fleet Farm today, and I was just perusing and things like that, and I came across these. Here, let me move this out of the way real fast. Oh god, got 2 mice up, and the whole thing's weird. These are the Midwest Finesse swim jigs. Both Z-Man, obviously. One is in the citrus shad and the other is in the bluegill, both 3/16 ounce. These things looked pretty sweet. This one specifically just caught my eye right away. I'm like, that's my color. That's the one that I want to use.
Bluegilly purchase.
Yeah,
color?
It's bluegill, 100% bluegill. In 3/16
so folks can see it.
They had 1/4 ounce also, and I was just like, 1/4 ounce was really, really small. Even if you throw, or when you throw a I guess
that's almost better on like a medium heavy spinning rod.
Yeah,
you get to a lot of those.
Yeah, I felt 3/16 was pretty good with a trailer, the whole 9. You could definitely throw it. I think it's probably going to be a killer, even pretty quick. I felt like for being such a small lure, the hook is pretty dang stout. Just open this one up here and show you real quick.
Oh, so real quick, back when I was talking about the Ned rig a few years ago and I caught that 4-something pounder on it, it wasn't actually a Ned rig, it was these. If you guys have not tried these, and you got to throw them on a spinning rod, because opposite of what Randy's saying, the hook on these is small. Like it's a micro jig, and I'm talking like just a little, maybe like 1.5 inch, maybe. I don't think it shows how big they are, but 3/16 is what I was throwing. Green pumpkin with a little craw trailer on. They're awesome if you guys have not tried these. And there's a bunch of micro jigs. Like this Molex has one, I think. Who were we just talking about? Missile baits.
Yeah.
I am not a PB&J guy. I know
in
you
the
like
morning
brown jigs.
I like the
So
those are nice.
This does have a pretty decent. I don't know. You probably can't see that. This camera's not the best.
Hold on.
Little plastic.
Oh yeah.
Paper.
Oh yeah.
But the hook itself is pretty stout. Good. I mean, especially for something this size, I was very surprised when I grabbed a hold of the actual hook. It's hey, Mo,
check that out, dude. That's a new view. I didn't even know this view.
That's something.
The Dizzle view.
Yeah,
I'm not comfortable with this, but
while I'm sharing, we're gonna roll with this for a while then.
No, my God, I gotta go. Oh, my internet.
We gotta get you ready for your first video. This will help get you ready. Here it is. So here's the Z-Man Midwest Finesse swim jig.
Yeah, you can barely see it though. It's pretty small. Just saying.
Bluegill color.
Can you switch? There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. I did see those. I was actually just telling Brando. I had picked up a whole bunch of so these are good, Dizzle. I'm glad you got some of these because I've actually had people ask me about these. I like this gizzard shad one too.
Yeah, that gizzard shad. So the bluegill color, are you throwing that in clear or like stained water? Because I'm not a really big. I've never been a big bluegill color guy. But
really,
I mean,
like for whatever reason,
my
swim jigs, I've always had the best luck on a bluegill.
Oh, so they're smaller. I thought you said it was a 3/8 that you got. So it's 3/16.
3/16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the biggest they go, I guess, is a 5/32. And so or they
You mean
had
the
the
smallest?
3/16, yeah, the smaller, and then they
Yeah,
had the
smallest.
quarter. But it felt like the quarter was even, it felt smaller in the hand when I was at the store. But either way,
Interesting.
the bluegill color for me anyway is it really, when I'm catching fish on it with the swim jig, I'm thinking more along the lines of I'm kind of like hitting them in the head with it. So it doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily matter, the watercolor. It's more of, it was a good cast and I'm putting it like right there in front of them. Otherwise with swim jigs, I'm probably going something a little bit lighter in color.
Okay.
But for the most part, I'm going bluegill. I have there's a local bait shop here in Waterloo where I am, and it's got he makes a really good, I think, anyways, a really good bluegill color, and that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I have some of those swim jigs in the bluegill color, so I might try those this year, just to spice it up.
So this is another one.
Try
This is
them.
another one if y'all were thinking about micro jigs. And again, be careful because these aren't going to have a huge hook. And people will say that, oh, the hook been out. Well, they're a micro jig for a reason. Razor sharp #1. Okay, it's just a little #1 Gamakatsu. Awesome little jig. And I think these come in a 2-pack, I believe. Yeah. So a 2-pack for $7, not the cheapest, but at least you get 2 of them for that. There's people charging $7-8 for one jig, which is crazy. But that's the micro jig. Now the other swim jig that I picked up from them, y'all have seen me throw it kind of as an alternative to that. Maybe me and Dizzle will have to fish these on the same day, but I picked up a bunch of these, the Ike's mini missile swim jig thing, whatever they call it. Really
Yeah, I
like
picked
this one.
those
And it
up in
comes,
that bone color was. I saw that color. I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna pick up some of those." That's a
3/16, 5/16, and 7/16, but the size doesn't change. Like the actual profile of the bait, it's just a little bit bigger head.
yeah.
So you're still getting the small, compact, little swim jig, just with more weight up in the head of it. And I don't think the hooks even change. I think it's all, it's a 3/0 VMC on all of them. So check that one out. What else did you get, Randall? What else did you pick up at the old store?
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of those, and I also picked up this nice little
Dave, great play.
Strike King. This, I mean, I don't want to try to even imply that this would take the place of any type of War Eagle, but these are pretty.
They're a super solid
spinner bait.
Hand tied skirt.
Yep.
Good wire on them. Good blades.
It gives me that War Eagle feel when I saw it. And crazy enough, this is their sexy shad type of color. It was the one that had the most on the rack, on the shelf itself. So they had, 5 or 6 different colors. This was the one that had the most left over, which to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, there's been a whole bunch of those videos where he has outfished me with the jig. So go back and look. I specifically remember one day Randy was kicking my arse so bad that like I couldn't figure out how to catch fish, and he just kept catching them. And I remember very, very clearly throwing my rod, cussing, and then giving Randy the GoPro that day.
Oh, that was that day. I was thinking it was
I'm done wearing this. Put the damn thing on. And he's like, I don't even know how to put this thing on. I'm like, put this thing on. I'm done. I'm freaking done.
I was thinking it was the day that I broke or had a crazy wind knot or something like that in my bait caster. I cut off the line as I'm pulling it in, hand lining the line in. And I think one of us said something along the lines of, what if there's a fish on the end of this?
How crazy would it be? Yeah, that was, you outfished me that day too. He was fishing so good with the jig that he threw a jig out, got a wind knot, backlashed it, cut it off, hand lined it in, and caught a fish on a jig. And I was like, dude, I just want to push you in so bad.
That was
sorry.
Yeah. That was like last fall though. You had what were you fishing, the jerkbait, and I was fishing the jig. DEBO.
Oh, were you using the lure retriever?
Yeah.
Did you had one on? Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's those crazy surprise moments.
Oh.
Terminator, yeah, Terminators are good. You have to be kind of careful. Oh no, it's not the Terminators. It was the.
It is the Terminator frogs are.
I don't remember are those the big round ones? I don't say they're That's the tough thing is I think it is. Let's go look real quick.
They're horrible with the hooks.
The hooks are crap. Yeah, the hooks are
terrible.
not sharp.
Just terrible.
Yeah, I picked
what
up
did we
some
just
of
say? Oh,
those. I don't think I fished much with them. Those Terminator frogs.
They seem
the
like they would be
spinnerbaits.
pretty good, but it's like,
Yeah, I like how they walk though. I mean,
yeah,
when I was,
it's just the hookup ratio is terrible with the hooks.
Yeah, so these super stainless, I have had horrible luck with getting them to stay consistent, and they are on the smaller range. It looks like they're 23% off. I've personally had really bad luck with those. Now, once you go up, there's different levels of these, and I have had good luck on some of the higher priced ones, which I would hope so for $8, but yeah, for whatever that stainless steel one, I've had a bunch of trouble getting it to run straight. Let me see. Yeah, it is the Terminator frogs. The thing is, the body style and walking it, they walk like a dream. They fish and walk like an absolute dream. But yeah, I've got a couple of them, and maybe it was just at the time. Maybe they've changed hooks, but the hooks on all of them were not sharp. They were junk.
Debo, you should definitely look into getting the what are they? The Yozuri 3DB knuckle bait spinner baits.
The knuckleball, the round ball spinner bait.
Yeah,
I will not.
I bought one. I bought one of those. Yeah, I didn't catch anything.
I got one in a crazy enough, it happened to be like bright fire tiger, like red color, not fire tiger.
I think I had the same one. I think I have the same one.
I got it from a mystery tackle box, and I caught one fish on it on a farm pond though, and then I was like, I'm done with this thing. This is such the dumbest thing ever. I still have it, Debo. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I probably won't fish that. Nichols, absolutely.
Oh, for that guy's question, Debo. Yeah.
Yeah. Question.
So, I mean, last year I fished Iowa. I love all my Tatula reels a lot, but this year, and I've only been able to take it out once.
Oh, shoot.
Ooh, nice. Corrado 150.
And I like it. I like that. So, well, I've only thrown it a couple of times, but it was nice. So, but for sure, I mean, the Dio Tatulas are great. I mean, can't go wrong with those. I have an SLX. My Abu stuff, I haven't really. I have a couple of those, but those aren't really. I don't fish too much of those. But.
Mr. Pink Floyd, let's just put that in the trash can and never talk about that video ever again.
Yeah, I agree, Kuda. Somebody better. We're gonna have to. There's gonna have to be. That might be how we start out all of the videos. If I'm fishing with you, is we have to have a mandatory reel check where you check on video. You check all of your drags first to ensure they're compliant with your likings before we go out, so I don't get blamed for drag issues.
Mr. Silly really wants to know what Brando's stance on Googie baits is.
Dude, Gator got it too. Gator was asking the question. So, Brando, I don't know if you've watched a bunch of the lives, but you may have seen that Dizzle is basically sponsored by Googans now. He gets tons of free gear. He always. That's the only reason. The only way I can think of it.
Hey, Debo, within the same room that you're sitting in currently, how many Googan baits could you stand up and walk to?
I've got a couple. Yeah, I bought a couple. But the thing is,
I have zero.
Oh, that's because you don't have your fishing stuff in it. I have literally never seen a guy with multiple duffel bags full of Googan baits.
Oh my!
So the only thing I can think of is he's sponsored by him now. And good for you, dude. I mean, good for you. But Brando, what are your thoughts on the old Googie baits?
I had a square barrel of theirs that, I mean, that's like my sneaky bait. I don't even remember how I got it. I think I got it from a mystery tackle box or something. But like when I put that on, it's a confidence bait. So I mean, but yeah, otherwise than that, I don't know. I guess I don't really fish too much of them.
I went out the other day, Debo, fishing while I was still out west. And I saw a lure floating in the water. It was a crankbait, chartreuse top. And I was like, I'm going to catch that.
Is it Googan? I'll save it. If it's anything other than Googan, I'm leaving it.
I was like, I'm going to catch that bait. And I ended up I ended up getting it, and it was a Guggen crankbait. But then I ended up catching, I don't know, 3 or 4 other baits and pulling out what seemed to have been about 10.5 miles worth of different lines and snap
You found the-
swivels. And
You
it
found
was
the spot
terrible.
that everybody snags and you capitalize on it.
Yes.
I will say they do have a really good smell to them. Don't they have like a stupid name for the smell I don't like?
There is like it's not as good as like Cox juice, but it's
I remember,
something else.
yeah, of course. Yeah, Randy's always talking about the smell. He's like, dude, the scent they have is like number one. And he just keeps repeating it over and over. It's weird
What's
as
the
hell.
terrible
Anyway,
one? What's the
this
terrible,
isn't gonna
disgusting
show.
flavor?
But it's like they're green pumpkin purple. I will applaud them for this. This color is sick. This is the blazing worm. If you guys like to throw a cut tail worm, this one actually does look sick in the water. I was messing with it one day. I didn't fish it that day, but
Sure
just
you
messing with the action. But yeah, this is one I would definitely like to fish more. Cut tail worms, man, they are a thing. I know it's kind of a southern thing, Florida deal, I think more. But Dad and I used to throw them. They are fish catchers. Okay. Anyway, there's our weekly Googie talk. We neither love nor hate the Googies here. Well, I don't either love or hate them. Dizzle, like I said, pretty much sponsored by him now. So we, good deal.
So that's that truck I've been seeing with the Guggen.
That's
wrap
Randy.
on it.
Yeah,
Nope.
the Guggen wrap on the side. Yeah.
Nope.
Sitting in Walmart. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Guggen on one side and Mended on the other. Yeah. Oh, Hammer has a good point. He needs to use Mended on his drag. Yeah, Mended that drag shut.
Oh,
I'm notorious for that though. My drag.
You should test other brand jerkbaits. Robert, what do you have in mind? What brands are your favorite?
P.S. I forgot that I picked this up, but I also grabbed one of these as well.
We did that day, Lost in Tackle.
Yeah.
I don't always have my hook sharpener on me, but that's exactly what we had to do. Randy was throwing the like the sexy shad color, and a pike ended up taking it that day. But yeah, I did sharpen the hooks on mine, but both of them I think ended up getting annihilated by pike. So
oh yeah,
what do you guys use for a hook sharpener?
I have
mine's actually right over there. It's just like a little Rapala, isn't it? Like a
okay. I've got the P-line one. Have you guys seen that where it's kind of
Did you say P-line?
Oh. Yeah, P-line had one. I picked one up.
Did I close the door?
I mean, I think it worked for me, but
mine, I don't even remember the brand, but it's just like a square hook sharpener.
Let me see. I'm gonna grab mine.
Let me see.
I'm gonna stop this game real quick and mute you. I'll be right back. Be right back.
Okay. No. Oh, has anybody used these P-line technical snaps? Somebody else said another snap to use last stream. What was that? Were they Spro snaps? Does anyone remember where they said it's like you squeezed it? Oh, it was Frank. Frank was talking about that. What were those snaps? I want to try using some more snaps. I'm not a snap guy. But I've heard people talk about these snaps. You just slide it on. No, I don't see a hook sharpener here, Brando. Mine is just like, I don't even know. Mine does not look like that. Mine's just like a square flat. What the hell? That's a round one? I don't know how that works. Mine's just like a big flat. It looks like a chisel is what mine looks like a 4-inch chisel. It's flat.
Okay, I'm back.
Sure.
So this is the one I've been. Oh, you go first, Sizzle.
Debo?
Oh yeah,
This is
mine's
the one
like
that you got me.
Yeah, mine's like a big version. I've got those little ones in my like trout bag.
It's double-sided.
Treble hooks. Yep, those work great on. But for like my bigger hooks, like frogs and spinnerbaits and swim jigs, it looks just like a chisel, but each side is rough.
Yeah, can you guys send me a link to one of those?
I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to look.
This is the one I got.
Huh.
So it's kind of like, yeah.
Huh.
I mean, I kind of like it just because you can hook it to stuff, but I've lost this thing like multiple times. So
you look up fishing hooks. I think mine was it's meant for muskie or something, and it's like 4 inches, but it's kind of thick, and I like it because you can just angle down each side and go. It's got like a handle on it.
Do you have?
I'll
pull it up here.
Anyway, yeah, mine literally just looks like a chisel, like just a square piece. It's like this long. You just go. Corrado Hawk Fishing said, hell yeah. Hawk, how are you, man? Said smooth is better. Yeah, all the Corrados are.
Yeah.
To me, Shimano wins the war of best feeling and smoothness.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Slobberknockers. Randall, which slobberknocker color did you have there? Sorry.
This is the bruised color. Can't really see it because it's in the packaging, but bruised. It's a nice. There's God. I'll just open it. Hold on 1 second.
Here's that Guggen
Jermaine in
Squirrel.
the house.
Right
Ooh,
there.
the secret Googie Squirrel.
Yeah.
Sexy
Okay.
shad.
Yep, 60 shad.
Jermaine, what's up, my friend? And his partner in crime, Brown Bait Co. Let's see. There was another one I saw, another question about, what was it?
Oh,
Dizzle
guys-
has Guggen sheets and pillowcases. Yeah, I've seen his bed.
Yeah,
sounded
you
kinda
have.
weird.
Wait.
Sounded kind of weird. I mean, I've been over to Dizzle's house and he's tried to hide it. He's like, "Oh, don't go in my bedroom and look at those fishing lures." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you got
Wait.
Guggen sheets and
Just stop.
pillowcases?"
You're probably never going to be able to see this, but
They have
applauding
the weight on the bottom.
them. Yep. The weight on there.
The only thing is that's like one of the first places it chips off. So
Exactly. But yeah, this is this to me is almost like a Okeechobee type of color. It's
I do like
green,
the color. Yeah, that
brown,
on top.
black, blue. It's a good looking color. Good looking color. I'm excited to throw some of these. I have a handful. I haven't used any of them.
Have you guys used those Berkeley War Pigs, those lipless? I just picked up some of those.
I do like the War Pigs. So lipless, that's another good point. Lipless. So there's been multiple years that the lipless has been my first, the lure to catch my first fish of the year. And lipless, I think I was going to bring that up earlier and I got sidetracked. But so places where I can't throw a jerkbait or I'm not sure how deep it's going to be, because, a jerkbait really shines when you get that long cast, fishing from the bank. You get that long cast, you can get it down to its area where, if it dives to 6 foot, gosh, I've got something itching on my nose. If it dives to 6 foot, you get it to that 6 foot and keep working it kind of in that range, right? So if you think they're bass are, 2-3 feet down, you're keeping that jerkbait just above them and working them in that. Doesn't do great on, kind of short cast from the bank because it doesn't get all the way down unless you're trying to keep it shallow. Frank actually had a really good point of that last week, fishing from the boat, in spots where he would just make short casts to keep it kind of shallower when he was trying to fish it. But fishing the jerkbait like that. But if you're fishing from the bank and you don't know what it's going to be like there, a lipless is another great option in the spring because you can make that long cast and yo-yo it. And I know enough people don't fish a lipless as a yo-yo. And I'm not talking about on the bottom, like where you'll see a lot of guys from the boat, fishing it and jigging it off the bottom. I'm talking about throwing it out and just raising your rod tip, reel up the slack. So in the water, it's going when you raise it up and then it's falling, you're reeling up the slack.
You're almost feeling it on that pull each and every time.
That's the only time you're feeling it. Yep. As you're pulling that rod up, you're feeling that vibration, and then it's just falling straight down. And that's when the bass grab it. And, I talk about that every year. It seems like we have a good 2-week period where we just crush them on lipless. I have not done a bunch of the tailspin stuff. Yeah. You modified the old cotton cordell, huh?
Yep. No, this is still the Bill Lewis.
Oh, is that a Bill Lewis? Oh,
yeah, yep. So,
yeah, it's the golden bleeding shiner, or whatever, bleeding shiner. Yeah.
So,
okay, I like that. I have not messed around with doing a ton of that.
I like doing that. I like doing that. What you're talking about, the yo-yo, and that blade kind of gives it that different presentation.
Yeah, I've talked. If y'all watched my video a while back talking about modifications, the only time I've ever done that is with those VMC. Let me see if those VMC hooks that have the.
Oh yeah, the blade on.
Yeah, I don't know if I put that all away or not, but.
Yeah, buddy might just put those on his jerkbait. I laughed
really?
at him. I was like, what are you doing?
Really?
But yeah, so shout out to Jordan if he's watching.
I've never tried it on a jerkbait. The jerkbait you'd have to be careful with if it's a suspending one because you're going to change the weight of it and it's no longer going to suspend.
Oh yeah.
But so that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
You drop that on there, and it gives it just a little bit of flash. Nothing crazy, but just a little bit of flash and extra vibration on there. So that's the only ones I've really messed with.
Are you fishing that just the same as you would just without that, or are you fishing that a bit different since it has that blade?
No, I really like this for yo-yoing though. So I don't like if I'm burning a lipless and banging it off stuff, I don't worry about changing this because I don't think they're seeing this when you're fishing fast, shallow. But on that fall, and actually that would be something good to test too. It probably, since it adds a little resistance, it might even make it fall a little slower. I guess I never thought of that.
Well, that's what was my thinking with not having the back hook and just having that blade. That
yours
when I yo-yo
definitely
it
would.
Goes, and then
that's a really good point.
So,
having that blade back there, it probably does slow the fall too. Especially the bigger blade. Like you had a pretty good size one on. This one isn't going to slow it much, and that's not much back there to spin. But a bigger blade with more resistance, that'd be interesting to test. Oh, Slonch Sauce was the name. Okay, that's not as bad as I thought. There's one of them's got like a really silly. Oh, you know what it was? It was 13 Fishings ice fishing plastics. I think they call it donkey juice or something like that on it. And I'm like, I can't in like my right mind tell people this is the scent I'm using. So I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 13 fishing stuff. Okay, so what else? What else for spring baits? I cannot believe we're at an hour 11. Okay, so we need to get the 2 giveaways going. So far for the winners, I've got a spinner bait and a jerk bait. So we're going to do 2 different giveaways, a lure giveaway and then the grand prize reel giveaway, because my lazy arse didn't get all these out. And I haven't even seen Osama on yet.
Real quick, Debo, while we're on the topic, just as a reminder, you must be present to win. And Debo will request also a email to his email address, Debo something or other at somewhere.com, which he'll post here in just a second. And for our Canadian fellowins, brotherins, however you want to say it, Debo will figure something else out for you.
Yeah. Sorry that the stupid Canadian Post charges me $85 to send a sticker. I don't know.
It's even worse when you do it wrong.
It's dumb. Yeah. And then if you're an idiot like me and send it to the wrong spot, then it'll cost you double. So
I say none of you said swim bait. You guys,
you did get yes, real quick, Cody. I don't think you're up here. I do have you on my list over there by my custom crankbait shop. You were the one that won on Burley's, right? I absolutely know that I owe you, and I owe a bunch of people. So hang in there, brother. Everybody that's won, I have not forgotten about you, and I am not. There was at one time a person going around on all my channels, and I don't know if this person was just sour because they didn't win, or not all my channels, all my videos. Asking to ban me because I'm a POS that offers giveaways all the time and never sends people stuff. I'm just a big fraud
beard
with a fake beard. I'm like, dude, you can get on any one of my giveaways or any one of my lives, and you can see all the people that have won. Like,
whoa! I just need to say,
except you,
Diggs Outdoors. That whiteboard is big enough. He just needs to send more stuff out, like that guy was complaining about.
Yeah, thanks, Randy. Anyway, so I've not forgotten about you all. I will get them out next week, or again, it's going to be another giveaway. How about this? I will give away one of my 2 zillions. So I've told the story, but I bought a zillion. They accidentally sent me 2. I did the right thing and just kept it because they were on pre-order. It wasn't the good thing to do. I should have contacted the company and told them. I honestly didn't think about it because I didn't open up that box for quite some time. And then I saw it and I was like, did I order 2? Like, damn, that's a lot of money. And I went back and looked and I didn't order 1. So, but it's all right because that company and I talked, and yeah, it's taken care of. But anyway, they sent me 2. So next week, if I have not sent all of these out, minus a couple, because I don't know about a couple of the people sending the stuff. Rob is still at the top. I don't know. Has Rob been in here? I owe Rob his, but I have to use the reel in a video because I owe him a reel. Anyway, if I have not sent all these out minus a couple, I will give away one of my 2 zillions. Hold me to it. Okay. Anyway, so right now we are going to do a giveaway of the baits. So I put spinnerbait, jerkbait, lipless, and Ned rig for sure is what will be in there. So it'll be a little spring fact or a spring.
What were those
pack.
again?
Spinnerbait, jerkbait, lipless, and Ned rig. Oh, and a jig. We'll put a jig.
And a jig. I was going to say, holy cow. Oh.
Did you see Randy's face light up like
yeah.
you some got all
Send some
huffy
hate mail out
puffy over
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, settle down, Dizzle. Good golly. We're getting the jig on the list. Okay, so StreamYard /
Randy Solely said,
giveaway.
and manners.
And Minners. Send you a bunch of old dead Minners.
Oh, speaking of manners, how's old what's his name doing?
He is doing great. Old Fudge Stripe is doing great. My daughter's actually going to help me film a video tomorrow going through some of that and talking some fishing stuff because we were feeding him tonight. And she's like, you should do a video. So I'm going to do a members only video since I haven't done a live like a lazy.
Even though somebody continues to send you text, hey, you want to do a live? Hey, what about a live? Ooh, live?
I know. It's time has not been extremely free lately, so I will be doing another members live, but I'm going to try to do some random, like me just going through baits, and it's going to be not crazy editing stuff, just like raw uncut Debo,
just like a live start to finish one shot.
Yeah, of me just eating biscuits and gravy ASMR style. Like, no, y'all don't like that?
Okay. Yeah.
Spring. So this is the spring lure giveaway. #spring. You'll get a spring pack of stuff, probably like $50 worth. I'll throw in a bunch of lures. I've actually been doing them over that $50. A lot of them I've just been throwing random things in, so I'll hook you up. So as we're talking about other spring stuff and we're getting these winners in here, what are some other what do you guys have for pre-spawn fishing tips for people? So if we were going out in a couple weeks where hopefully the third installment of winter has left us, what are any sort of tips, tricks you would give somebody that's rather new to fishing, or even not new? Maybe you just don't think about it or fish that way. Well, what would you give?
I guess for me, the big thing is kind of don't think just because this is a lipless, I gotta solid retrieve it. That one year where we went out and hit Pappy's Point, that whole yo-yoing the lure back. Don't get, I say this time and time again, don't handcuff yourself to one type of method of retrieving that actual lure, whether it be, a lipless, a jig, it doesn't matter. Vary your retrieve, burn it in, even though it doesn't feel like you should be, slow roll it, whatever you do, just don't stick to the one thing and say, oh, it's never going to work or it doesn't work. Vary it up. That's my biggest thing.
I like it. And this was one, Brando, I think I cut you off earlier. I'm sorry. I told you I wasn't going to cut you off, and I think I've cut you off a bunch of times tonight. So
no, I'm interrupting. I'm interrupting too, so it's all good.
Okay. Apparently big swim baits is a thing. I don't know if you were talking big swim baits, but you asked swim baits first. What was your question, or what were you going to talk about?
Oh, I guess I didn't really see people mention swim baits, for pre-spawn.
And when you're talking swim baits, I think you're talking like paddle tails, right? Like smaller paddle tails.
Paddle tails. But even last year, it was April, like 40 degrees, blowing wind. I threw out a white Huddleston. It's first time. I've never dabbled in that. It's 6 inches, just a 6-inch one. Toss it out there, just creeping it. Boom. Caught like almost a 5-pounder. I was like, holy cow. So, I mean, I don't generally throw those, but I mean, ever since last year, throwing that when it was, the pre-spawn, I was like, okay, maybe this is where I need to dabble a little bit more in those bigger baits at least. But for sure, paddle tails. I mean, that's a big
I love like a little paddle tail, like a little 3 or 4 inch paddle tail spring, slow rolling that on jig head. But I am not. I mean, you've been there when I've caught a couple glide bait fish. Like I am not a big swim bait fish guy.
Yeah.
Not a glide bait guy. I'm sure we've got pros in here, but I'm not even going to pretend to tell you all I know the first thing about fishing hoodies. I would say go check out Bass Geek. Bass Geek loves the hoodies and the big swim baits. But no, it's a good point, Brando. I want to throw more, and I say I'm going to, and then I just don't. So
there was that one year, Debo, that we crushed them on the little the dart heads.
Darter head, yep, just a little
jig, the little darter head with a super small paddle.
That was spring. Yeah, that was the same day we had the the fishing challenge where we had what was like an hour, and I brought out the old push button
Oh
Zenko
yeah.
33.
I was thinking of a
And
different. Well, it was the same year, but I was also thinking of the. I was throwing that, and you tried to throw the. Was it the dark sleeper? Is that what it's called? And you like lost like all of them within the matter of 2 seconds.
yeah, I think I lost 3 in like, I don't know, 20 minutes, and I was ready to just throw my
on the
combo in.
river.
Yeah, like $8. That's when they first came out. They were like $7.99. So I was like, okay, $8. Okay, 5 minutes later, up $16. Okay, come on, Dark Sleeper. It's supposed to be whatever,
Meanwhile,
however much,
I'll catch a
$24.
fish.
Yeah, Randy's over there. He's like, hey, I'm throwing a war eagle jig, catching fish. All right, let's draw for the giveaway. 193 people entered, 338 people watching. Again, I appreciate the hell out of all y'all, guys, gals.
Again, present to
Anybody
win.
else watching? Yes, he must be present.
For
I
you
am
to
sharing, right?
send him something with an
Must be
email
present
address.
to win. Hopefully you're
Come
in the
on me. Come on me.
United States, so I don't have
Wait,
to spend
let's go me.
$70,000 to. Oh, Matthew.
Oh man, nope, he's not in here. Not in
Matthew.
here.
Okay, Matthew, you have to let me know. So I know he's a big bait guy. Matthew, are there spring lures that you would like, or is this something you would like to defer? It's up to you. I am happy to send them to you, but I don't know how much conventional stuff you fish. You're a big swim bait guy. Let me know. I'm sure he's still in here.
Yeah,
so real, what are we gonna do for a real giveaway? What reel should we give away tonight?
Oh, this was the fake giveaway. Gotcha.
No, this is the real. No, this was not the fake giveaway. This was the lure giveaway. There's 2 giveaways tonight. We'll see if he's still here. He might not even still be
anything
in here.
you think I'd like Debo throw in?
Is he here?
He throws conventional. Yeah. 859.
Oh, got it. Okay.
All right.
So that's Matthew South Jersey. Okay, so for the real
giveaway.
Okay, this is the end of the whiteboard, y'all. This is the end of the Dizzle sponsored whiteboard.
I mean, it's not
do or die.
Go away.
Do or die next week. I gotta get them handed out. Okay, so what should we do for real? You guys, actually, speaking gear, what's one of your favorite spring go-to combos? While I'm rummaging around in the Debo bait shop here for a reel to give away. Do you guys have like a favorite combo that you tend to lean on? I mean, it could be like, oh, I love this jerkbait combo, or I love Dizzles will be, well, I got 17 jig combos. The first jig combo I like is this, and I have this reel on it, and I throw
28 different combos. Come on.
So you guys, I can still hear you. I think Arthur's in the chat. Arthur hit me up to talk about.
He stood up. Time to drink.
Time to drink. He was talking about fishing gear and stuff, and reminded me to charge my Bluetooth. So Arthur, sponsored by that, he sent me the thing to do all this. Thank you, Arthur. I appreciate you.
God, you know, for me, honestly, it's more of a thanks for letting your chair spin around, Debo. That was very nice for everybody to hear. For me, it's more of a like a spinning combo.
Should I give away the reel you sent me? Randy sent me this. He's like, hey, I got a couple of these. They sent me an extra. I mean, I want to test it, but maybe.
Anyway, so what I was saying is more of I'm more apt to reach for a spinning combo in the spring, just because I want to throw those like Ned rigs. Usually I don't throw. Oh, here comes the microphone. It's gonna happen. What's your take, Brando?
Yeah, for sure. I have the Denali covert series, the 610 medium.
Okay.
Then I have a 7.2 medium heavy that I'll use for tubes, and then my heavier jig baits there. And then
what? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say for casting, I think I've got a 7-foot Denali medium for my jerk baits, and then I'll use a 7.3 medium heavy for my Texas rigs.
Okay. As far as your tubes. Like I used to throw tubes on the river a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Just tubes and tubes and tubes. I've been so far removed from the tube life. I don't know, like there's been no real big innovations really. Has there been with the tube? It's all pretty much the same, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to depend on the brand and like the type of material that they're using. So, I mean, I'm kind of old school. I really like the Gets It tubes.
Okay.
But you get a couple of fish and they're fried.
Sure.
But then Z-Man came out with these. They're like little tubes that you can put with your Ned rig. Those things are fantastic.
Yeah.
But then I just have
the tubes that I used to use back in the day were the Strike King, the coffee scented. I don't even know what they were, but that was probably the last time I was throwing them.
So I really like tubes.
Should we do baitcaster or spinning?
It depends on it.
Oh. Do what?
What do we got for? So should we do baitcaster or spinning?
I don't know.
Anything Shimano.
God, you should probably give away any of that in the background. There's 987
I'm not going to give away
combos back there.
Well, I can't do a combo, and I don't really want to give somebody a janky beat up reel that's been used. So I want to pick a newer ish one. Zillions. Hey, next week, if I don't get all these out, it's Zillion next week.
You're full of balagna. I would say, honestly, a lot of people are saying baitcaster, but for me, just because going with the whole spring content, I'm thinking spinning. A nice spinning combo, or not combo, but nice spinning reel. Mm-hmm. For me, anyway, all of my spinning combos are combos that I bought as is. Like it was a combo that I bought versus I went out and bought a rod and a reel separate from each other. I have no idea why.
You don't like my fancy? I think these are like $20 Cole jeans. You don't like my fancy jeans? You're supposed to make fun of Dizzle, not me.
No, keep it up.
Yep.
But for me, yeah, it's for me it's more springtime is more finessier.
I'd agree.
Brando, what do you think of the Denali rods? Randy and I have talked about these multiple times. You've got some Denalis, right? Actually, you picked up over it from Kyle.
I've got a lot now.
So we've got a lot of Shimano bait casters.
I really like. So I don't know. Have you guys tried that Covert series? I really like the Covert series for spinning.
I have not. I was actually looking at it today. Well, actually yesterday, I was putting all of my rods back up in the rod holders that I have outside in the garage, and I only have 3 spinning combos, and they're all Lew's because they're the go out buy a Lew's rod lure combo.
Yeah. There's let me see.
God, do I need to get up now too? What's going on?
I was just gonna grab.
Yeah, nerd.
DEBO'S Zip It.
So here's like that. Let me see if I can get it. That's that Gets It tube.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I really love that color that they have there. And then one of the reasons I like so this is the Covert. One of the reasons I like this is the eye. You know how some of the spinning reels are just big and bulky
the circumference is
the circumference of like this one's kind of small and compact. And for some reason I like that. Like I don't know if it's what the big difference is, but it's something that I've.
Yeah, God, DEBO, what did we spend? We probably spent after when the Denali rods came up the first time, we probably spent a solid 45 minutes, 30 minutes maybe afterwards.
Talking about them? Yeah, I think so. So here's the deal. It's going to be the Shimano SLX MGL. I think for the money, and I'm going to do a review on all the SLX line and stuff. I think for the money, one of the best bait casters out there at doing a bunch of different stuff. Now, there's other ones I like for pitching and flipping. You know, there's some that will do certain things better, you know, especially if you want like more line capacity. You know, it's only a smaller 70, but it's got a good small frame on it. Great little bait caster here. I know Philip Cheek is in the chat. He loves this one too, but I've got 2 of these. This is the nicer one. So it has been used. So if you do not want a used one from me, do not enter, but super solid. This is the one that Still perfect. That's what it's going to be in your giveaway. I do have the box. So box with your blown schematics in there. Still the bubble wrap. So that's what we're going to do. So let me bring that one up.
Pop all the bubble wrap first, though.
Yeah, you guys ready? No, Randy. You're not going to do that. Oh, and this is right-handed, too. So if you're a lefty, I'm sorry.
Dizzle, do you
So
fish just all right-handed, or do you have left-handed?
I primarily with everything, I primarily fish left-handed retrieve. I can use right-handed retrieve because basically anytime I'm out with Debo, he's like, try this thing. I need to get some B-reel of somebody casting this on this thing, and they're all right-hand retrieve, so I can do it. I just feel like for some odd reason, even though I'm right-handed, I feel like my right hand is dumb. Like it doesn't work like my left hand does. It just doesn't work the same. And I feel like just growing up, I learned to, with my Zebcos, with my whatever it may have been, it's all been a left-hand retrieve. So it's what I use.
All right. So #real if you want to be entered for the right-handed Shimano SLX MGL 70. Awesome little reel. And I think people will be kind of surprised if you get it and you've not used this one. Really good little reel. Highly recommend it. Okay, so that'll be our giveaway. So let's talk about what else. Okay, what else do we want to talk about for spring fishing? We talked about spots. We talked about some lures. I know it's been kind of all around on so hopefully it helped out, folks. And if you like these, let us know.
I do have one thing. Traditionally you're not super jacked when you go out and you're like, oh, it's my free day to go out and fish. I'm so excited. I want to go fish. And then you open up the door and it's bluebird skies, not a cloud to see. Maybe it's super still, no wind whatsoever. Just you're all around worst conditions ever. Do you feel like that rolls over to spring fishing as well? For me personally, I don't feel it's the same, especially in the spring. I feel like the fish are just like, I don't care what the weather's like. I'm going to eat some stuff. Let me get some stuff to eat kind of feel. So bluebird skies are not. That's one of the big things I could think of off the top of my head. But
yeah, that's kind of interesting too, because and Brando will probably know more about this. Like I don't do a lot of jerkbait fishing in so, when we're talking, and I guess not even jerkbait fishing, but talking largemouth versus smallmouth, the way I understand it, I'm not like a huge smallmouth guy. Like throwing Ned rigs and some underspin or a spin swim bait is how I've mostly caught them all in the past. Some topwater, but I understand they like, as opposed to bass, a largemouth bass who will tend to move and search and hunt, cloud cover. Smallmouth tend to like sun more. Like when they're hunting and moving, they like to have sunny skies. Is that right? Like I've heard that. I just don't know. I'm not a huge smallmouth know-it-all. So
yeah, I mean,
find that to be the case, Brando. Like in the sun, they like to sight fish more or eat more than largemouth.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times when I catch my better fish for smallmouth, it'll be more sunnier day. But at the same time, I've caught some really some good largemouth when it's sunny out, but I just focus on where are they going to move to? Like, is there shade? Is there brush? Because sometimes they just get tucked, but they're still going to eat. So they might be, there might be a brush or like a lay down or something. Like I tend to just, focus on those areas if it's, those bright sunny days. Start there, and then obviously, if things aren't working from there, then you just gotta kind of figure out, kind of move from there. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree though. I mean, I feel like a lot of times during the spring with the largemouth, I mean, sun or cloud, I think they're just ready to eat and ready to do their thing. So
yeah, and that's a good point. Even on those sunny days for largemouth, they'll oftentimes just tuck up to something, right? They're not going to be out just roaming in the bright sun, clean water. Oftentimes, they're pushed up against something, looking for it, waiting to ambush. So that's a good point too. But yeah, Nick nailed it on the head. Bass don't read the rules. Yeah, I don't know how many days I've been out and we're like, oh, we're catching them this way. I never would have thought that's the bite we would have got on today.
Or vice
other
versa.
days where you go out.
Yeah, it's vice versa. It's like, oh, this is ideal, perfect conditions. We're gonna
Yeah.
kill them today, and it's a grind trying to catch a few.
That's
like
the worst. Like that's the toughest part is when you already have that preconceived notion. You're like, oh, like this is how we're going to do it. Like you're thinking this is how it's going to be, and then it's not. Now you just have to completely kind of just like throw that away, even though you've tied for this. You know, you tied for like thinking that it's going to be like that. I mean, that kind of happened with Debo. That happened when we fished up north when we had that really good day. Remember, I was like, Debo, jerkbait, throw jerkbait. We're going to throw jerkbait. And then all of a sudden,
Nothing.
And then, nothing for like 2 hours. And then the sun started peeking out a little bit. Debo puts on that watermelon Cinco, poof. And then after that, it was lights out. But
yeah,
I mean, that
just
was
complete different day. Yeah, don't give up. That's the other thing too.
A week before that, I caught that 5-pounder on jerkbait, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like jerkbait." You know,
yeah, a week difference.
That was my problem.
How much a week difference can do? Yeah,
yeah, especially up in the north, it just changes really fast.
All right, let's draw for this. Then we'll go through any sorts of hammer. Another really good point. Have a plan A, B, C, and D. Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw real quick. Shimano SLX. What the hell did I do with it? If I can find it. Oh, Shimano SLX MGL 70. If you want to be entered, you can barely see me down here. Better do it now, real quick. People are. Randy's sending me messages. No, Randy, you can't be entered to win this. If that's what you're asking. Okay.
That wasn't the issue. That was it. Never mind. Go on.
I wish there was something.
You know, like you're also old. You know? I've had to. So the past probably like 2 months. Winner is bass. How did you lock in the name Bass? Is
Bass,
this an actual
are you
fish
here?
It's actually bass.
It's bass. He's really into the guitar.
He's on the wrong live. He's on the wrong live.
Yeah.
He's 914.
Bass giveaways?
Bass.
He's here.
Bass Hitty Bass is here. 914. Real quick, does it bother anybody else when somebody says 9:14 p.m. at night, 6:48 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah.
Bugs.
Instead of just saying like 9 p.m.
Yeah, p.m. Indicates.
Randy, you get upset when I send you times and I say, you're like, oh, are we doing live tonight? What time is it? And I'm like, yeah, 7:30 p.m. CT, like just out of habit. And you're like, I know it's Central Time. You don't have to include that. And I'm like,
well, it's more of, I don't know.
Me.
Oh, SD, do not ATM machine. ATM machine. It's an automated teller machine.
Well, I know what that is.
ATM machine. Let's move forward, please. I'm sorry I even brought it up.
Anyway, Bass, send an email to DEBO'SFishing@gmail.com with a screenshot of your YouTube, so I know it's you. So there's not somebody else trying to steal the reel from you. And then where I need to send it. And once I get all that, I will send it to you next week using my thermal printer, getting all of those sent out. Because if I don't, it'll be a zillion giveaway next week. Don't get your hopes up because I don't really want to give those away because my favorite reel. So I'll get these all out. So anyway, what else we got? What do we got for closing questions, comments, this or that? What do you guys have for thoughts? Anything else you wanted to add? Anybody's question that we didn't get to? I see a lot of people are heading out now that the giveaway's done, which is cool. That just means the hardcores are sticking in here for us. What do we got? What do we got, folks?
I think it was just to go back quick on that where I was talking about the jerkbait.
I kind of felt like that too on a fishing stream. Oh, my YouTube name is Bass. I love fishing. I'm gonna get a thing, and if it's like sending it to someplace crazy, I'm not sending it to you, Bass. Better not be a bot.
Well, I like Chris Rust comment about favorite drop shot bait.
Oh God.
You have a donation, Bub.
No, because Brando actually likes the drop shot. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, drop shot's great. It catches fish." Just like all the other drop shot nerds.
South Jersey. I wish that was my burner account, but it's not, sadly.
Yeah, probably Randy's burner account. Oh, dude, Randy, this is crazy. This guy lives really close to you. And wait a minute. This Bass guy is at your address. Nick, thank you for the $10 bomb, my friend. I appreciate that. Debo, appreciate the chats, but also answering my leader knots. Oh, and rod tip questions earlier today. That was you. Okay. Yeah. So his question was, and we didn't get into which he was using. I just kind of gave him my lowdown on both. So for like a pitching and flipping combo, and Brando, I know you went braid to a leader more on your casting combos. So maybe you can talk to this. But he said, will it hurt if I'm using a flipping and pitching combo? Because when I talk about flipping and pitching with, let's say I'm using like 50-pound braid to a like 17, 20-pound leader, I don't like my connection knot because I'm only flipping and pitching with it. I don't like my connection knot to go past the tip, where if it goes past the tip, the connection knot's bigger, it can grab your eyelets and it can cause a backlash. So I like to have it where it's not going into the rod tip. He's like, will that hurt it? I'm like, no, generally it won't hurt it. The knot rubbing on it, I suppose could with larger line. But I mean, depending on as long as you've got a tight knot, I mean, it's not going to mess up with it. You can always put like a dab of super glue or mend it on there too. I know guys will do, but I just prefer to have it where it doesn't go in there. Now with my spinning combo, I have it where it goes all the way down between the first guide and my reel. So it's all the way down. So I get like a good, probably 7-foot leader off of it, where it's going all the way down into there. So when I cast, but I don't know, what are your thoughts doing that more on a bait caster?
Yeah, flipping and pitching. I found where when I used to, I used to do the Alberto knot, and I didn't like it because I used to bring it all the way close down to what you were saying, close to the reel, like 6 inches
for flipping and pitching.
But every time I do that, it it get caught or
catch the last two. Yeah.
So, but I switched to the FG knot, and with the FG knot, it's a little bit more forgiving. But I mean, yeah, generally I like to keep it. I like to have that little bit of length just because I hate having to retie, and I don't like to have my leader where it's short, where I get snagged. I have to retie, snag it, so it gives me a little bit more leader length, but for sure, like the FG knot, I do like using that. And it just goes through the guides a lot better. But if you're using any other ones that's a little bit bulkier, like the Alberto is just big enough where it would be a pain when you'd go to flip and it kind of get stuck and your jig would do one of those things. So
I like it.
Yes. Yeah, spinning though, for sure. Spinning, I do the same thing there as well. So as you do.
Yeah, I have not mastered the FG knot, so that's probably why I don't like, because Brando's right. I use the Alberto, and it's like on spinning, I don't even notice it. Like it's not a big deal to me at all. Like you can kind of hear it, but yeah, on bigger line, it is, it does kind of catch those last few. So that's why I like to have it not go in there, or make sure the knot does not go in that first tip of it. But yeah, I'm not
on your spinning. You even don't you don't like it to go in there on your spinning either. So you just
said? No, he was saying on his spinning, it does fine to go down in there because the knot's smaller.
I thought you just said you didn't like it to go in. Okay.
No, only on my bait casting, I don't like it to go down into the guide.
Because when I tied my Alberto knot on my current spinning rod.
Oh, hey.
Thanks, Debo. I actually did the full length of the rod as a leader, so my knot is actually just right above where my spool is.
Yep. Yeah. As long as it doesn't go down into the spool with your spinning rod, you do not want the connection knot to go down in there. Sooner or later, it'll catch and pull off more braid than it should. So, a Brando question only. I've been grabbing some questions here, pinging them. We're going to go through some rapid fire quick and then get out of here. Jason asked Brando, this or that, only fish beetle spins or only fish a Texas rigged worm?
Texas rigged worm, for sure. Yep.
Texas rig worm is a catcher. Question, Texas rig, go weighted or without any, and why? I have heard going without weights is smart because the stick worm falls slower and works better. So yeah, Adam, the only time I really go weightless Texas, like off the top of my head, is going to be a stick bait. I mean, you can do it with like some swim baits and stuff. But a weightless Texas rig worm stick bait is awesome. Yeah, it falls slow, especially if you're fishing shallower water, 6 foot and below. It's that really slow. Both the ends of the worm, actually, I guess it'd be going like this. Both the ends of the worm, as it falls, it does this action on the way down, real slow, and it's just that do nothing, like mild little jiggly movement that just crushes them. Now, if I'm fishing deeper and I move out and want to cover more water, like if I'm fishing, 12 feet, I'm not going to want to wait for a Texas rig stick bait to fall all the way down, 12 feet. So I'll usually add a little weight. Or if I'm noticing that the bites are only on the bottom, if I've had 10 bites and every single one has been on the bottom, like hopping it or dragging it, there's no reason to fish all this, if I haven't had a fish touch it in 10, the only 10 bites that I've got. Then I'll go to like a little weight just to get it down there and then work that bottom. But how about you guys? What are your guys' thoughts?
I don't really fish a non-weighted Texas rig. I'm always been weight. If I want it to fall differently, like I'll move my weight up, kind of like a C rig. I'll kind of put it up there and then, throw it out and then kind of let it hit the bottom and then kind of naturally fall. I'll just have to wait a little bit. But
for me, I'm just, I don't know. I don't personally do a whole lot of weightless Texas rigging. I just pretty much just throw a jig. So is that an option?
Yes, you can throw a weighted or a weighted or weightless.
Yes, I'm throwing a weighted jig.
Dizzle, do you ever throw a jig with like a worm, like with a Cinco on the back? Have you ever done that?
No, I've done. Honestly, when
I showed you that. That was when Mikey Balls was showing that, and I showed you that video. I'm like, dude, you should try this.
For me,
Mikey Balls is the first time I'd ever seen anybody do that.
I kind of think it's like the middle finger, right? Like you throw it.
Yeah, and just... For me, I'm just like when I'm throwing a jig, I want it to be super compact. I want finessey, small, little, as small of like an outline for whatever reason that it is possible. Like I don't know, I don't like big baits. I'm trying to get away from that.
Yeah, you tend to fish more on the finesse side, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody's got their own.
Dizzle and I would have never. Yeah, we got to go fishing together, Dizzle, because that's. I'm a big finesse guy.
Yeah, and I mean with finesse jigs, I mean I never really gave him much of a second look until getting slaughtered by this guy multiple times over and over on a finesse jig. Then I'm like, okay, I'll start fishing these. War Eagle spinner baits, which ones do we like? Asked Logan. I know Randy and I like them. Brando, are you a War Eagle?
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely, yep.
Let me present here.
I suck when it comes to the Colorado willows. I like those.
Like with the big willow and the small Colorado kicker.
Mm-hmm. I like that just because of how it displaces water a little bit more, and you can keep in.
Yeah, I think it's just a good versatile one. I've kind of talked about that, and I think that question came up last. I'm not huge on like switching blades out and having this exact number, and like I tend to like. I mean, there's a number of different, and really a lot of them are very similar. I know Randy, going back to finesse, he does like the finesse one. War Eagle does have a few different, like they've got the larger ones or the the painted for like the river stuff. But there's
and they have the
finesse. This one,
the finesse Randy even
kind of got me turned on.
Ooh.
Yeah, it has that extended back skirt area. So if you do want to throw a stinger like hook on there,
that was the other question that I pinged too. Yeah, saved up, not a bot. His question was trailer hooks on spinner baits.
Yes.
So
some of the time,
if I can get away with them, I try to. If you're in the real thick stuff, you're just asking to get snagged. But if I'm just fishing like vertical timber is pretty much all, or like big logs, lay down logs, I definitely try to throw a. I think we were looking at this last time. I definitely try to throw a.
Oh yeah, yep, there it is.
Stinger.
God, what was the?
Do you guys like the? Do you like the twisted eye on those wires?
Yeah,
I saw that they have. Are you guys a twisted wire?
I don't.
You know what that's?
Is there a difference, like as far as the actual working of the lure, or is it just convenience where it doesn't? Like, it wouldn't slide up or down the line.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to have a difference in vibration. So, like the thing with the huge, like the really nerdy spinnerbait guys you'll talk to, like they'll even get into the wire thickness because the thicker the wire you have, it's going to be stronger, right? It's not going to bend as much. You'll probably get more use out of it because there's only a few times, you're really comfortable if it bends down here, especially toward the head of it. that you can bend that back and forth before it's going to be weak and breaks off. I've had it happen. But the thinner wire you go to, it's going to have more action, more movement, more vibration through it. And it's kind of funny. You can see whoever was taking the picture for this on Tackle Warehouse in the, in the blade.
That's awesome.
So like guys will get really nerdy about that. So I don't know if it like messes with the vibration, but I'll show you one. Yeah, it's just like a what do you
the
call
War
it?
Eagle,
Like,
War Eagle has some, and I've seen them, and I just have never picked them up. I've got one spinner.
oh, in the Twisted? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got one in the Twisted. So
I used to fish so much man stuff back in the day. Whenever I see a Twisted one, I'm always like, oh, that's a man's. Like you knew the man's back in the day by the eyes and the twisted, thing in the front of the spinnerbait, twisted wire.
Do you have a preference on your actual stinger hook itself? I came across what for me anyway, I guess the Gamakatsus, I guess Strike King makes them also, where they have more of the like molded God, I don't know what you want to call it, but more of a molded plastic versus like the tubing plastic.
Yes, you're talking about a molded piece like that where it's got the tubing there.
Yeah.
So the thing I've found with these, I personally don't like these because you stick it through the silicone, through the eye of this hook, and it can kind of act like a rudder back there. I feel like. And
so is that the actual one where it looks like you have a piece of like surgical tubing or like
you can stick the eye of the hook up in that tubing and cutting off and do it like this.
Okay.
The way I do it with those is you put the hook on so it's free swinging, and then you just cut a little piece of the tube off and put the
as a
tube
stopper.
on. After this is a stopper. So this hook is back here free swinging, moving all around, but you can do it either way.
Go check out the look for
the Strike Kings kind of look like this.
Yeah, the Strike King tour grades.
I think 6 cents, kind of the same thing.
Yeah, go back up to that spear point hook, whatever that was.
But I like them open like this, and I don't know if these come with like the tube, but I like where they're open like that, and you can just cut the tube on and put it separately.
The only thing I don't like about
that's why you get hung up though, Debo? Like, because that hook's going everywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why if you're around a bunch of stuff, that hook, like especially if you hit something, I mean, that hook is just going to turn down. And it's going to grab anything.
So Josh B said they replaced all of the surgical tubing with the heat shrink tubing. For me, I kind of like the heat shrink more just because I feel like it is more compact. It's like right there, and I don't have to worry about losing the damn section of heat shrink or surgical tubing that it comes with. Like I don't know how many times I've opened up the pack and I cut one off and there it goes, never to be seen ever again.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't. Yeah, a lot of people hate trailer hooks. Some people never use them. Some people are like, I use them 99% of the time. I mean, I try to use them if I can. I've had multiple days, especially on a buzzbait. A buzzbait's another one if you guys haven't tried a trailer hook.
Have you ever tried?
Are you guys putting it on like? Do you guys have like your own spinnerbaits that have them, or do you just carry the hooks and then you put them on?
I just carry the extra.
Yeah,
the only ones
I would say 90% of the time. Yeah, those Strike Kings that you showed me a while back, Debo. Those ones actually came with it, and the skirt was long enough to cover.
Yeah, that's the one I have. That thing is beat up, but that's my go-to. Like if I want to have
that's a really good spinnerbait. People don't talk about that. It's a really plain head, just the round cut head.
Yeah.
It's not even.
Do they come in anything less than a half ounce though?
It's not those. So they have the finesse
ones. Those are
big.
Those are big ones. Those are. I've never seen them in a smaller one, but
my thing is
Strike King Premier Plus are the ones.
Yes.
Yep.
They have just like kind of a plain Jane, like nothing special on them, but yeah, I've had really good luck on these spinnerbaits.
They flow really well, like the actual action. The action in the water with the trailer on there, it just looks really, really good.
You can see how the tubing is above it.
Yeah.
Not on the hook.
Those are great. Like I really love that spinnerbait. Like I've got some of the Bassman and some of these other like more expensive ones, and I mean that thing kills it.
And there you can
Hey
kind of see
Debo,
it's
do you
just a
ever
piece of that
take a
tube.
spinner bait, put a stinger hook on there with a trailer on it, and then an additional stinger bait on that stinger bait? You're like triple hooking it, and
No, because that would at that point be illegal then, Randy, because
Yeah.
you've added
We-
2 hooks that didn't come on the production bait. That's illegal in Iowa. You can't do that.
I wasn't
regular
talking about
bait-
here, like in Minnesota, though.
Oh, I don't
we
know.
fished-
Minnesota's
we
laws.
fished there once.
Yeah, if you're up there adding 7 hooks to it, Randy, I don't want to know about it.
The
I don't
A
wanna
at
know
that point
about-
it's like throw the A rig.
Yeah,
Diva,
That's
we're gonna
such a
throw that
bum
this
out.
year. We're gonna throw that this year.
dude,
It-
it's
it-
all
those
I do
really-
is snag with that stupid thing.
Oh, they disappoint me so much because I feel like the A rigs would work amazing. Like they
Well-
would probably catch more fish if you could have more than just a couple of, what is it, 2 hooks in Iowa?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah, yep.
But they make I forgot what brand, it's on Tackle Warehouse. They make a 2-hook one, but the main hook is like longer.
Mm-hmm.
And so
So
it's
it hangs out
made
back,
for
so hopefully it's the one they grab.
yeah, I think it's like the BFL something. Yeah, Chris Russ. I
Uh,
think he's right. The hog farmer.
Do they have Shane's
That's
baits
it.
on here? So Bass Geek got me on the Shane's bait, like the little ones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, those Flash Mob Juniors, those I love that one. It's not, it doesn't break the bank. It gets for like a
They
beginner.
do have them now. These are new. So he's
Shane's
got,
baits.
what are they? The mini blades. Yeah, here's the one that I was throwing. This thing's actually pretty sick because it's like the size of my hand. I know I've shown it on here before,
Yeah.
but it's just a small little
Yeah.
bait. And then I do like for us here, you can take like this top comes off, so you can unscrew this and replace the arms. So I actually had one where I took it out and I just took one of these bottom ones off. So it's this back one and this bottom one, and those are my 2 hooks. And I've got just 2 dummies up top with no hook. But
Didn't you throw that last
Yeah.
fall? You were throwing that around
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, and then got it snagged. Yeah, that's cool.
What is it? The live target one that comes with, it's the biggest one is the one that has the hook on it, and then there's 2 or 3 other ones that
The
come
bait
with it.
ball, the live
Yeah,
target
the
bait
bait
ball.
ball.
Brando got some
Yeah.
of those. Brando gave me
Yeah.
one.
That is
I think that's
it's
something-
not a terrible bait at all.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Randy caught quite a few on that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
yeah,
a-
I've
that's a
caught
good one.
fish on it.
Yeah. It's not like a big profile, so it's
Yeah.
I fish that kind of like a spinner bait. Like if I'm gonna
Yep.
just give something a little bit different, like if I'm trying to do like that style of retrieve, I'll just throw that on.
I do gotta ask while we're just kind of all over the place here. Randall Pink Floyd did ask a while back, wind knots or backlashes? I don't know if that's a this or that. What would you rather have? Which one's worse? Which one is better? For me personally, I hate a wind knot. 90% of the time I can get a backlash out, but the wind knots always just seem terrible, and it always ends up being the case where I have to cut it because it's so cinched down. Just my take.
Yeah, like a bad wind knot, I would agree, because like on that little braid, maybe it's just because I'm old now and I don't have the sight that I used to have, but like, yeah, especially once you get that little knot in there, then it just drives me nuts that I cannot have that in my braid and my spinning reel. Whereas most backlashes, 98% of the time I can get it out, unless it's like, ooh, a really bad one where you hit something behind you and you were like, no thumb, just and you're like, oh Lord.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I'm
karate
just cutting that one out.
explosion.
Yeah.
Brando,
Yeah,
thoughts?
How about you, Brando?
I'd agree. The wind knot, that's the worst. And I also just a backlash too, when like right when you throw it, you're like, I didn't check my shit. And, oh, sorry, I didn't check my stuff. And then it's just, and you're like, and then you're like, dang it. And you're like, if I just would have spent that last
Mike.
second of checking everything, it's
Yeah. See, for me personally, I Debo always like, we don't have conversation about it a lot of times, but I don't thumb the reel a whole lot. I like to have mine set up where I can pretty much just cast it and not have to worry about thumbing it a whole bunch. But then there's the times where I don't check my stuff stuff, and I go to cast it, and not being a thumbing type of person, it's just gone and explosion.
Yeah.
He gone. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
not
so
used
those-
much. Hey, here's
So
the
go to
Hog
his-
Farmer Spunk Shad. You ever seen these, Randy?
Oh,
Randy
Jesus.
loves the Spunk Shad. You don't?
'cause
It's
he's-
that I
that's-
don't
that's-
hate the
that's funky.
spunk shad. The name is just kind of
Oh, I didn't know that.
mayonnaise.
Okay, so anyway,
So they have
multiple
like a
people saying the Hog
BFL.
Farmers.
So there's like a
Let's
BFL
see.
one that we can use. Like, I think it says BFL.
3-wire 3 rig. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the Hog Farmer Baits BFL. I think that's what
Oh,
it is.
here?
Yeah, is it 2 hooks?
It's got 3.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I think that might be the one. But anyways, I think they make one where you can use it for
That one has
it's
3.
like for having two hooks at that. Might be that third one.
Ooh, there's the Minnesota rig. Look at that. Minnesota must only allow 1. That's pretty
Ooh.
cool.
Yeah.
They've made one with just the 1 on it. Huh. And maybe there is. Hold on. Do we have a two hook jobber here? Mop Deuce. The hell's that? Oh, it's right there. Is that it? Mop Deuce 2?
Yeah, yep. That's it. Yep. That's it.
While maintaining a 2-hook compliance. There it is. Well, there you
Yep.
go. It's only $35 for that. Good Lord.
35.
What if I just
And
what if I
then-
just
and then that
taped a
doesn't
bunch
even
of
come
spinnerbaits
with-
together?
That doesn't even come with hooks and then plastics. It just comes. That's just
You're
the skeleton.
You're throwing a $50. Yeah. But hey, the good thing though is that you can only throw two baits. So it's only 2 swim baits, right?
Yeah, I'm guaranteed losing that in 10 casts or less.
Can you imagine the fish just looking at that? It's like a disco ball. They're like,
Or the
It
fish
does.
just
I mean, it would
looking
look
like
just like
that,
a little school of little shad.
yeah.
looking at it like that little the blonde haired girl meme where she's just like,
Oh yeah, spun out.
All right. Well, listen, it is late.
Yeah.
I'm starting to yawn. 2 hours in. Got to thank Randall. Got to thank Brando. We'll have to have Brando back
Yeah.
on for a guest appearance
Ugh.
again. Rando. Is that what happens if you guys are out fishing together? It's the old Rando
Yeah, okay.
double
Could
team.
be.
"Hey, Brando, real quick, what's your favorite go to at the end of the day? You could only fish with one lure ever for the rest of your existence."
You're gonna hate.
That's a fun question.
Ned rig. I'm
Right.
good. I'm good with the Ned. I will say that. That's my.
That's closer to a jig than it is a frog, so I'm good with that answer.
Oh my gosh, Randy. Basically everybody that comes on those, I was like, oh yeah, jig's so great. And Randy's like, oh yeah, see, you should love the jig more. I'm like, hey, what about frog? And they're like, no, nerd. I'm like, oh.
No, nerd, get out of here. This is
Yeah,
jig
shut up,
country. What are
nerd.
you talking
Yeah.
about?
We'll have to plan
All
all
right.
3 of us fish sometime too. By the way.
Oh yeah,
Let's do it.
I'm down.
Let's all.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll steal Dad's boat. I'll steal Dad's boat, and we can all go out in that.
All right,
Be pretty
tomorrow.
fun.
Let's go. See you guys. Let's get after
Okay,
it.
done. Breaking ice and going through.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, love y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and until next Saturday.
All right.